Good morning. Welcome to ATI ProMedia, coming to you live from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm hiding in a back room at RFD TV Studios. You'll be able to check me out live at 1 o'clock. I'll be hosting Scott the Cow Guy show. And sometimes it goes well, sometimes we have little problems. Hey, just like this show, Connor B is hiding in position over there in Assumption, Illinois. He says there's tornado warnings. And I think we hope he's okay, but he'll be on a little bit. Before we bring Connor in, 2-year note. Oh, wow. 47, 48. I have to look up. And hot PPI number. What's it mean to you? It means that rates aren't going down anytime soon, folks. And here's how I know. Crude oil just crossed $80 a barrel. Interest rates going up. And the stock market, the Dow that was up 100, is now adjusting a little bit and it's down 200. So we have a lot of things happening. Sold a little bit of grain, yet China's going around the world and canceling grain. You know what I think of China when it comes to a trading partner, but how do you fire one of your greatest clients? It's a tough situation that the world's in because China is in control. Speaking of China, little turbulence going on with TikTok. Are we going to have TikTok on our phones? Hundreds of millions of hours are spent a day of people looking at nothing moochy lip type of kids things on TikTok. That may be going away. So good news for people and corporations. People could actually go back to work. But TikTok under fire here in DC. With that, let's bring Connor B in. I probably forgot a couple headlines, but I'm remote and he's hiding under his desk. What's going on, my friend?
Not much, Tommy. We got good thunderstorms coming through Christian County, Shelby County. Tornado alarm went off. I jumped on my phone. I think they're going to miss us. So, but if my stream cuts off, feel free to check on me in about 10 minutes to make sure I'm okay. But nice to see the precipitation we're getting across most of Illinois, even a little bit of Iowa. I hope it doesn't miss. We're going to pull up the drought monitor later. I hope we get, northeast Iowa where it's big in the drought monitor. So we'll take the rain, definitely. Yesterday, Tommy, I saw a lot of gas being put on in my area. I think guys in about 2 weeks, maybe 3, they're going to be chomping at the bit, ready to get this crop in the ground.
That's interesting. Hey, today's 14th. Crop insurance. I'm sure at this point, anyone watching this has crop insurance wrapped up. If not, then you're like one of those people who go shopping on Christmas Eve. Get her done. Make sure you got all the T's crossed and I's dotted on crop insurance. Now we compare that crop insurance with the option plan or some cash sales and get her going. And actually, when we tell people that we manage risk, crop insurance is a big part of it. It's a put from the government, and I'm sure everyone understands it. If you don't, call your crop insurance agent. All right, what else do we have for headlines? I'm loving the price action in the markets here. A
Yeah,
lot of things going on. Volatility. Oh, speaking of volatility, did we
go ahead.
go ahead, read this export thing real quick.
Yeah, 100,000 metric tons to Mexico, 23, 24. Good to see. But I think with the cancellations on wheat on China, we know about flash sales. We'll pop them up every time. We'll talk about them, especially when we start gaining momentum. But we want to see the physical delivery before we get too excited. Go ahead, Tommy.
Yeah, volatility on the 2-year, 5-year, 10-year, 30-year. Producer Joe popped this one up. Volatility on the interest rate front at 52-week lows. What's that mean, folks? It means that the markets have finally adjusted to where we are in interest rates. They're not so worried that interest rates are going to explode. They're not so worried about those 5 or 6 rate cuts that we had. So if someone was out there and had a huge risk to price swings in interest rates, volatility is lower. A few months ago, we were telling folks volatility in corn options was at really, really low levels. And whether you thought the market was going to go a lot lower or a lot higher, vol was cheap. That has since changed. We've come up a lot here on volatility in options. Historically, it's still relatively cheap, but just something to think about.
Historic, Tommy, along those lines, looking back at last year, where would we be for that 10-year, 30-year note volatility this time last year? It would have been ramping up, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of nervousness. We were still raising rates on our way to pausing, and then now we're allegedly supposed to cut rates. But when I tell you, and you see Joe pop that up, that the 2-year note is at 4.7, that's the short. Well, there's even shorter stuff than that, right? You can go to the Fed and to the Treasury page and buy T-bills. Is that sometimes people do it for you, but an average American can go to the Treasury page. I think it's called Treasury Direct, and buy a T-bill, and it's still elevated levels. So Wall Street, when they said, "Oh, rates are going to collapse," not with a hot CPI and PPI, and yes, that volatility as all those traders were adjusting kicked in. But when we first started the show, congratulations! I believe yesterday was our 75th episode.
Hey,
And then we did some practicing before there. So we're at like episode 100. And we talked about the 10-year a lot because it was moving so much. And then there was a time a few weeks ago, we didn't talk about it for a month. And then it started to move again. So volatility is condensing there. What else do we have for headlines?
yeah, keeping it going. We've got cancellation in wheat, right? China's canceling wheat, not U.S. wheat, Australian wheat. They are canceling all across the globe. Reuters reported this, canceled the Australian wheat buys. I got it. It's about 1 million metric ton of Australian wheat cargoes. And so, remember 3-4 months ago when we started this show, there was a talk about that shortage of Chinese wheat. They were going to need to buy them. But guess what? Russia suddenly has a surplus. China's looking on paper, for not being a very good trading partner. They are pretty good traders. So what are they saying? We can cancel this, and I think we can buy it later. So that's what's happening in the market. Canceling U.S. wheat, Australian wheat, and we'll see where they're going in the next 60, 90 days.
Yeah, that's interesting. Throwing your curveball, this wasn't planned, but I did see a chart the other day of canola around the world, Matif rapeseed on the up and up. I mean, definitely busting out. So when I think canola, I think soybeans. I think of my North Dakota clients.
Yep.
Joe's been helping some people. They want to hedge canola. It's not exactly the most liquid contract in the world, but oilseeds turning up and soybeans have been acting very well. When the markets look their worst, we're always asking people, if you're selling grain, buy calls. They're like, I don't want to buy calls. This market's never going to go up. Fast forward 6 weeks later, and we've went up a significant amount. And folks have to realize, Connor, that a 30-cent rally in corn and a 60, 70-cent rally in beans, that's a huge rally with how much surplus there is in the world. So it's nice to see the value of all these grains go up. And I have to tell you, with crude oil rallying like they are and everything else, it doesn't shock me. Hey, real quick, premium content. Yesterday,
Yep.
we had on Brady Huck. That was fun. And then today's premium content, which will be released at 4 o'clock to ATI ProMedia Premium subscribers, will be Drew Moore. And we talked about being a farmer in Central Illinois and being COO of Advanced Trading, just to get to know Drew, get to know his perspective of someone who's helping us guide the ship called Advanced Trading, and then also someone who's a family farmer. And I think you'll like his interesting perspective there. For $1 a day, $1, like Price is Right, $1, Bob, you can have a subscription to ATI Pro Media. Go to www.atipromedia.com, click, and you will subscribe. All right, what else do we have?
Let's talk. We could pull up a few charts while I'm doing it. Tom, you want to give us an update? What are corn and soybeans doing?
Please stand by. Like Angelo always says, please stand by. All right, let's talk markets. Dow down 100, corn down 2, wheat down 12, crude oil up $1.27, gold down 14, spring wheat down 7, Bitcoin down 1,500, bonds on the low, interest rates going up, folks. Soybean oil hanging in there. Nove 24 soybeans, ring the bell, up 12 cents. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. We have one. We have our winner for today. Nove 24 beans. Folks, if you're going to plant beans, don't forget to sell beans. I'll give you a little tidbit. Drew Moore said his rotation on the farm this year was 60% soybeans, 40% corn. He was looking for a broker, Connor. I gave him your name. I told him when Connor's not playing movie star, he actually is a broker. So look for that Moore account to be get that paperwork done here in the next few days.
Okay, and that's interesting on planting a little more soybeans. I'm having a lot of conversations in Central Illinois. Drew and I aren't too far away where his family farm is, about 30 miles from Assumption, and I don't hear a whole lot of any big rotations. In fact, yesterday, had a talk with the guy. He was talking about looking at a little more corn acres, just looking at where he could hedge and all that. So we'll continue to break that down. In 2 weeks, Tommy, we'll have that March 31st report. Am I right on that? Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the USDA has preliminary for acreage estimates. I think yesterday we had an estimate. USDA is at 91 million acres of corn, and is it 87 million acres of beans?
Mm-hmm.
First range of estimate.
There. I believe that report's on the 28th, which has been
What did I say?
used,
31st? My bad.
which it normally is, but this is why. Uh, the 28th is a Thursday. Friday, the markets are closed for Good Friday, and then
Yep.
we go into the
You're right.
weekend. So this report is closer than you think, folks, and we'll have you'll do a premium content with Brian Bastine. You'll do one with Cesar, and we're going to try to get folks where they need to be. I think Allendale came out with a private survey yesterday. They had pretty high corn numbers, like 93.2 or
N- it-
93.4. It was a
Dead,
little shocking.
dead on, Tommy. 93.4 corn, 85 million acres of beans. Last year, we planted 94 million acres of corn. Big corn number, right? The balance sheet doesn't get as friendly at adding 2 million acres of corn. So we'll keep looking at that. And I think we should, it's time to get, we know what crop insurance is. It's time to get that marketing plan in place. Another thing we're going to be talking about probably a lot in the next 3-4 months is going to be weather, right? I think the tornadoes passed me. Speaking of weather, it is still raining, but drought. Let's take a look at the drought monitor, kind of the before planting as we can look at it. And as you can see, that Northeast Iowa is the red spot in the Corn Belt, the big one. But then we have, above average dryness in Southern Illinois, all of Iowa, and most of Missouri. And so when we look at that, right, we need a little precipitation. It's getting guys concerned when we look at this and we can see that the tiles are not running. And so we'll keep doing that. Looking at, and then last year, right, Tale of Two Cities. It was out west, right? Brady Huck was in that big part. I think Dodge City, if I know my geography, is about right there in the dark red. And so Illinois, perfectly clear. So we'll continue to watch that and continue to look at it. Any color on that, Tommy?
Plant in the dust, the bins will bust. Let me ask you a question. I want you to go home. What's your daddy's name? I met him a couple times.
Rob.
Rob. You go ask Robert if he buys horrible corn seed. Like, is Robert going to save a bunch of money this year by buying some off-label corn seed and soybean seeds so that he could save money? Or is Rob going to plant the best corn seed in the world, the best bean seed in the world? Does he have all this equipment on his planter with precision planting? The genetics are moving so fast that if 2023 taught us anything, is even with what was not by far that Eastern Iowa was not ideal. But people think like they're goofing around up in North Dakota when they come to corn, wheat, and beans. People think Kentucky farmers are playing and they're just growing corn for bourbon. That's not how it works, folks. So pull up that map one more time. I want to go over that map. You
Go ahead,
asked
Joe.
for color, and I'm going to give it to you. Here it
Let's
is.
do it.
Yeah.
Go to
North Dakota can
other
produce
one, Joe.
bushels.
Other one, Joe. There we go.
North Dakota can produce bushels. South Dakota can produce bushels. My clients in Minnesota are awesome. My clients in Iowa are awesome. My clients in Nebraska, they're awesome. Plus, they have a lot of irrigation. Illinois goes without saying. Indiana, great. Ohio, they love farming. But those fringe acres, we have clients in the state of New York. We have clients in all over America, clients in Texas. They grow bushels and technology's changed. I'm telling you, folks, if you're going to do a better job, lock in that crop insurance, lock in that floor, just like Connor's getting ready to hide under that desk. Hope the storm goes by. But if it doesn't, we're going to be into a multi-year bear market, and it could be really scary. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you play this tape a year from now or 6 months from now and go, you were so wrong, it wasn't even funny. That means you all will have done so much better because you'll still have that upside open. Back to you, my friend.
Right. Absolutely. Great to pick. Let's wrap the show up, Tommy. We got a few questions, comments. First one we got, Corey, I never lost power. We did get a lot of rain. Interesting. I'll have to look at the map where it was out in Christian County. So thanks for checking in. Luke, supposedly all of Brazil's export corn is spoken for. If dryness becomes an issue, when would international buyers step in and cover their needs? April, May, or would they buy just enough to get by? So
Don't answer it. Don't answer. It's a trick. I think we throw that back to Michael Reginelli or someone like Cesar and do a breakout on that, because that question right there, that's a 7-minute video.
Yeah. Only color I'll add is when we're looking for dryness in Brazil, April timeframe, right? That's kind of like July for us. That's when the corn crop is going to be made, right? In that second half of March coming up. And so keep that in mind. Good question, Luke. We'll break it down later. Over under on corn at 91 million acres. Brady
Ameri-
Huck, long time,
This
first
guy.
time.
This guy. The American farmer loves plant corn. They have billions of dollars of bins and dryers bought and everything else. There's nothing that makes a farmer more nervous to not use their bin or their dryer. They love using that stuff. They love precision planting. Just spent some time down in Louisville. There was 1,000 booths about production, and maybe there was one marketing guy. The American farmer is going to plant a lot of corn. If I'm wrong, all right, then they planted a ton of beans. So if the American farmer doesn't plant the corn, you better be selling the heck out of this bean rally, or at least protecting the heck out of it. Great question, Brady.
Yeah. And Adam, over 91 million acres, is that a statement or a question? You'll have to tell me later. And I saw the same thing that you saw. A lot of nitrogen going on yesterday in Central Illinois. The dust was flying. So
Adam, longtime listener, first time commentator. Hey, great show. If I don't say so myself, there was a little rumor I pulled a Connor yesterday. If anyone knows what pulling a Connor is on live TV, hey Joe, pull up that clip. Catch me messing up at 1 o'clock on Scott the Cow Guy. Joe threw up that clip of me right there. Look at that, trading on volatility. Look at that scared face of that guy.
Look at that guy.
Oh, baby, pulling a Connor. So what happened, folks, yesterday on live TV is that our as they're bringing in the guest, he was at a hotel and it was horrible quality. They're talking to my ear. I was reading the teleprompter. I mean, even leaders of our country sometimes have problems with the teleprompter. All right. How do people get a hold of us?
Give us a call, 855-737-FARM, info at ATI ProMedia. Shoot us a question. Loved all the questions today. Tommy, good luck. I don't like pulling a Connor. We got to get a better synonym for that. But we'll go from there. Let's wrap it up.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.